Welcome to the Get Your Goal podcast, the place where ambitious, deep-thinking women chart their own course, exploring the mindset, emotions, and daily practices that help you get your goal your way by being unapologetically you. I'm your host, Paula B., Master Certified Life and Goal Coach and creator of the Daily 3 Journaling Framework. On this podcast, you'll learn to navigate your unique path to success by using the most powerful tool in your kit, your own internal compass. Ready for the adventure? Let's go. Hello, friend. Before we even get into the podcast today, I want to share a, relatively speaking, brief story with you about podcasting in general and also about my personal podcasting process. So podcasting, just in case you are not a business owner, podcasting is marketing. Marketing is all about letting people know, hey, hi, I exist. I am a business. You have I'm going to call it a problem. We're actually going to talk about this today. In fact, that word problem, but you have a problem. I have a solution. And my job here on a podcast is to let you know, hey, I really understand the problems that you are facing. You are an ambitious woman with a busy brain and an impossible goal, and you would really like to work through your mindset blocks to help you get your goal. You, whether you actually would articulate it like this or not, you want to understand yourself and trust yourself more than you do right now. And you have some inkling that journaling and coaching and like getting to know yourself is the path there. And so my job is to let you know, yes, absolutely. I agree with you. I know what that feels like. And yes, I have solutions to that. I have a journaling process that I share with you for free in a masterclass. It's called the Daily 3. It helps you rewire your brain for success. I also have a membership where you can do this kind of like journaling, self-help, understanding yourself, working through your mindset blocks stuff in community with the support of literally thousands of hours of resources and also me, a master certified coach that A, is also an ambitious woman with a busy brain and impossible goals, and B, can really help you see yourself with processes and through actual like real-time coaching. So that is the job of this podcast, which some of you are like, oh, is that what podcasts are doing? And I will tell you, I love knowing how things work. Like once I understood that almost all podcasts are some version of marketing and selling you some kind of something, it makes it very different how I listen. I listen very specifically when I want the answer to a problem that I am currently facing versus kind of listening passively for entertainment and then unintentionally taking in those marketing messages without thinking about them critically. So that's podcasting in general. Let me tell you about my podcasting process that I mean, as a business owner, as also a fellow ambitious woman with a busy brain and impossible goals, like I have no shortage of topics to talk to you about. Like I have literally thousands of ideas in my head about what we can talk about so that I can help you get your goal and help you see that, hey, I really am here to help you with that. So I had this idea for this specific podcast a while ago. Like if you listen sequentially in real time, it's been a minute since I podcasted. I had this idea. I was going to sit down and record this whole episode for you. And then I came up against a thought that stopped me in my tracks. And the thought, I finally found it. The thought was, I don't know what I should title this episode. And I can't even say that without laughing because now it sounds really ridiculous. The mindset block that I was working with was some version of thinking that there is a right way to do this because I got really up in my head about the titles, generally speaking, offer you they offer you information about what you're going to hear inside the episode, but also it gives you that little spark of recognition, like, hey, we're going to talk about this, again, so-called problem that you have. And so I like to identify somewhere in the title, like either what the problem is, or maybe hint at the solution, or in some manner help you identify, hey, this episode is for you if you have ever been in this kind of a situation, ever had this kind of a thought, ever had this kind of a worry, ever had this kind of a, again, so-called alleged problem. But here's the problem. And yes, I'm laughing with and at myself for thinking that this was a problem. I don't think you're going to recognize yourself in this episode. Therefore, I finally, just this morning, it's very early in the morning, just this morning was like, Paula, there is a way to record this episode to help you move through your own mindset blocks, to help your audience move through their mindset blocks. And the path there is to stop effing around with the title. So this was my 7-minute explanation of why the title of this episode is Insert Title Here. I cracked myself up with this one because it completely circumvents the alleged problem of not knowing what I should call this podcast episode. I assume if you're listening that you're either a longtime listener who just loves the podcast, you know I'm going to say something more or less that interests you or actually affects you. Or it was intriguing enough because it is such a ridiculous title that hopefully it invited you in. It shows you that around here, A, I don't take myself very seriously. B, I really do love to offer you behind the scenes. And yes, finally here, many, many minutes into the podcast within a podcast, let's talk about this thing that you and I both do. And I want to start off our real topic today by telling you that I come to this from experience. About a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, was in the middle of a business pivot where I had been a fitness trainer for years and years and years. And I had transitioned as a fitness trainer into like a weight loss coach because I found that like 99% of the people who came to me for exercise wanted to exercise for weight loss. So I started talking a lot about weight loss. And then as I got older, I started talking a lot about like weight loss over 50 for menopausal women and how very different it is than when we were younger. And I really, during that time, came to understand, in fact, almost as soon as I became a physical trainer, came to understand that almost none of us really need the kind of help with our physical fitness as we do with our mental and emotional fitness. They are integrally, wow, I don't know what that word was. They are so entangled with one another that it is impossible to only work on your physical fitness without understanding your mental and emotional health. From there, I transitioned into like a mindset weight loss coach, and I realized that all goals are the same goal in terms of specifically for those of us who are ambitious and want big things for ourselves, not just kind of losing weight to look skinny, but like to actually feel amazing in our bodies, to love and accept our bodies so that we can be a healthy weight for the rest of our lives. Like that's a big, seemingly impossible goal. The kind of women that I work with don't just want a little something. They want a lot. They want it all. They want the big, good life, that work-life balance, that big life that they've always dreamed of. That, includes weighing what you want to weigh, and also might include things like writing a book or running a business or running a race or navigating through grief or any number of things that feel currently impossible. And I have to admit something. I literally just lost where I was coming from on this train of thought. Oh, I was going through a business pivot. That's what it was. I was going through a business pivot from really specifically like weight loss mindset coaching into this coaching that I do now for all goals. And it is still mindset work, although there is not a pivot coming, but there is a language change coming because I use the word mindset a lot, but I don't just teach mindset. I teach brain-body connection. I teach women how to journal in a way that uses not just your brain and your words and your language, but also your feelings, your emotions, your body. It is the interconnection between your brain and your body that transforms you, that moves you forward and helps you. Yes, here we go. Mic drop moment, roll credits, get your goal. In any event, about a year ago when I was going through this pivot, I felt really I'm going to say lost and confused, and that's very dramatic because I am very dramatic, but I felt very uncertain about exactly what this was going to look like. I didn't know how to talk to my audience about it, hence me not podcasting for almost a year, but I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to present it. I didn't entirely know where I was going. I had this big feeling inside of me that there was something better than what I was currently doing, that there was something bigger than what I was currently doing, and I didn't know what to do. So I did this thing that we're talking about today. I turned to AI. I asked ChatGPT to help me figure out what in the world I was doing and how to do it. I had ChatGPT help me write social media posts. I had ChatGPT help me write a whole new website that really explained what I was doing next and how I was moving forward. I asked ChatGPT constantly for advice, for help interpreting like my conversion rates and help working on my landing pages and help reframing who I was talking to and how I was talking to them and like what kinds of problems they were facing. I mean, apropos of like how I make podcasts is I think about some kind of problem, alleged problem you may or may not be facing. And I, talk about that on the podcast. So I spent how long? Probably about 6 months using AI daily, many times a day to help me with my business. And what I learned through that 6 months, about 6 months, in fact, I think it was longer, but that's not really relevant. The point was I was using AI for specific things. And what I learned in summary is that AI doesn't really help. It purports to, and it sounds like it's going to, and it sounds so friendly and kind, even if you have it on the setting where you're like, hey, don't blow smoke up my ass. You can just talk to me like a real person. AI is trained to sound kind and loving and caring and helpful because you and I go to our robot friend to ask questions. So it's supposed to sound helpful. And it's not. Here's the thing about using AI. I want to give you examples like from my own use case, but I want to make sure that I sound non-judgmental. I am against using AI for literally anything. And also, I understand how helpful it could be if it's used properly, if it's used in conjunction with your brain and your discernment. And that is not necessarily how you're currently using it. And don't take that as an insult. What I mean is that what happens is we often come to AI for help with something practical, and then inevitably we bump up against our own mindset blocks in ways that we don't see. And that really is the crux of what I want to talk to you about today. That when we ask a question of AI, we are inevitably asking it through the lens of our mindset blocks. And AI doesn't know that, can't know that because of the way it's designed. It is designed to answer your questions. It is designed to help you with the very specific thing that you have asked it. And the problem is that you and I are asking really terrible questions. I have a really, really old podcast episode. I can't even put a date on it. I have no idea how long ago it was. In fact, I feel like I've hit on this a couple of times in a couple of different ways. If I can remember which podcast episode it was that I really talked about this, I will give you a link. Gosh, that would take a little bit of research on my part, which is not a problem. I'm not a girl who shies away from a challenge. But in any event, I used to talk a lot about how when you ask yourself a terrible question, you will get a terrible answer. That when you ask, in your journal, when you ask yourself a question like, what's wrong with my life? Your brain is going to give you evidence. It's going to answer you with all the things that are wrong with your life. Like that is what your brain is trying to do. My friend, that is what AI is trained to do. It answers your very specific, probably terrible, and definitely mindset block oriented question. AI is subtly, quietly, and unintentionally reinforcing your mindset blocks instead of helping you through them. This is not a problem until you see it as a problem. And that is the entire point of this podcast, is to help you actually see the problem. I didn't see it for a long time. And I mean, I've been talking about garbage in, garbage out since literally forever. Like as soon as I understood anything about mindset work and journaling and life coaching and understanding yourself and self-help, like as soon as I understood anything about like how your own brain works, that your brain is always looking for evidence, confirmation bias. Your brain is always looking for evidence of what you always believe. Like I know this stuff. And yet I was deeply seduced by somebody else outside of me that I had access to 24 hours a day, helping me answer my questions that I didn't think I had the answers to. AI is really seductive like that. I will continue to use that word. It sounds helpful and it feels helpful because, again, it subtly reinforces that somebody outside of us has an answer that's better because it has access to the entirety of the internet, which, again, I mean, I make jokes all the time about if it's on the internet, it must be true. And I say that in my most sarcastic voice. And yet here I am asking, or not anymore, just so both of us are clear. I have completely deleted every single ounce of my identity off of the AI that I was using, which was ChatGPT, and it's not name brand specific. All of them operate in more or less the same way. But I deleted all of my personal information off of it. I completely closed out my account. I am on an AI diet, and I don't use that word lightly, but I am off of AI as much as possible. It is everywhere. It is almost impossible not to use it, even when you are asking a general question or legitimately trying to use a search engine to find something. It's everywhere. But I do not intentionally ask it questions about my business or my life. I do not ask it for life coaching, really specifically. The thing about AI is that it is answering your very specific questions in ways that are subtly undermining what you are really trying to do. I belong to a Facebook group, and I'm laughing because I belong to this group, but literally nobody in the group would know that I belong to the group because I do that thing that I always do where I love memberships. Oh my gosh. The reason I have a membership, y'all, is because I love them. I love people watching. I love having tons of resources available at my disposal 24/7. I love being in community without being in the community at all. I love to read. I read every post everywhere all the time, and I comment on them and engage in the actual conversation almost never. But I'm in this group really specifically for life coaches. Like, these are all life coaches who were trained the same way that I am. You have to be a certified life coach to be in this group. So that we're all kind of like speaking the same language. And I saw a person post in this group about how, and I think that this coach is somewhat newer. So I have, again, a lot of like sympathy and empathy for what this person was talking about. They had a coaching session with I think, again, relatively new client. So newer coach, presumably newer client. And the coach got off of the call and felt like they hadn't really moved the client forward. So they took the transcript of the coaching call and put it into some AI. I don't remember which one, and it doesn't matter. And I really don't mean to keep using name brands. But in any event, the coach put the transcript into a chat bot and said, hey, can you help me see, where I can improve my coaching so that this client can get better results? Now, if you're listening for it, you can hear the mindset block here. The client did not say, hey, your coaching was lousy, I'm not getting results. The coach felt like they weren't getting their client results. There were no facts here. There was no actual problem. The problem was that the coach thought there was a problem. The coach had a feeling, which of course came from a thought, and the thought was almost certainly some version of self-doubt, some version of, I don't think I'm doing this right, some version of, I don't know what I should title this podcast. There was some mindset block on the part of the coach that took them to AI to help them solve a problem that didn't exist. I gently and lovingly offer you that if you ask AI for advice on how to lose weight faster, it is absolutely in 1 second or less going to spit out an eating and exercise plan without asking you about your current rate of weight loss. It will assume, because you implied it, that you are either not losing weight or not losing weight, quote unquote, fast enough. AI will not ask you about your current habits, your current thoughts and feelings. It's not going to ask you why you think allegedly faster weight loss is better. It's not even necessarily going to ask you to define what kind of speed you'd like to lose weight with. That sounded like a terrible sentence. I don't know if that was grammatically correct or not, but you know what I'm saying. It's not going to help you release your judgment of yourself or your timeline. It's just going to answer your question. If you ask for advice on how to get consistent with your writing so that you can finally finish your book after dreaming about it since you were 7 years old, that's me raising my hand. And AI did not exist at the time when I wanted help with my book. But I did ask myself a lot of terrible questions about that. But AI is going to hand you some very generic advice because, oh my gosh, it is everywhere about setting up a schedule for yourself and creating consistency for yourself with time blocking or habit stacking. And it's not going to ask you what you are currently doing. And it is almost certainly not going to help you see that you are currently writing consistently and that you're just telling yourself that you're not. If you ask for advice through AI for how to run, and this is my favorite question because it's terrible, for how to run better. Oh my gosh, my friend, what in the world does that even mean? Well, AI is going to think that it knows because AI is almost certainly going to assume that you want to run faster if you use the word better. So it's going to just tell you how to add speed work into your training plan. And it might even give you, it might, because here I have a quick soapbox to stand on for this one. AI is going to give you a very generic training plan, no matter what you ask it for. And it is not likely to take into account, first of all, your age, second of all, your gender, third of all of the multitude of factors that go into anything. So this is why I said it might tell you to do core work or strength training, but it will very likely just focus on speed work, much like back when I was talking about weight loss. It'll very likely just give you a calorie plan and maybe an exercise plan. It won't talk about hydration. It won't talk about sleep. It won't talk about like supporting your metabolism. And it definitely won't talk about menopause. Even if you ask it, there is so little research out there and it is not famous or popular. It will very likely not understand your specific needs. It will give you a training plan for running, coming back to running, that's designed for a 30-year-old man, my friend. It will not ask you to define what you really mean by better, because it might be faster, but it might also just be that you want to feel athletic. You want to feel like you know what you're doing. You just want to feel strong. You want to feel better about yourself as a runner. You want the confidence to call yourself a good runner, no matter what your pace is, no matter what your speed is, no matter how good you are at it. AI will purport to help you with your self-confidence, but it will also just answer your really specific and probably terrible, full of mindset blocks question. If you ask for advice on how to make a marketing plan, hey, ask me how I know this one, because this was the question that I popped in there. Help me make a marketing plan, because I was having so much self-doubt about podcasting and social media and being this new type of business. Even though it wasn't new, it felt new. All of a sudden, I had a million doubts about who I am in the world and how in the world I should put my business out there. So I asked for advice. How do I make a marketing plan so I can hit my big revenue goal this year? And oh my God, AI, this was the beginning of the end for me with my particular relationship with AI. It gave me a social media posting schedule, and just let me give you a spoiler alert. I ended up very recently deleting my Facebook and my Instagram because I'm like, this is not who I want to be in the world. Anyways, it gave me a social media posting schedule that included a minimum of one Instagram story every single day. But really, I would be better off posting 3, 4, or 5 Instagram stories every single day, plus 2 to 3 reels on Instagram every single week, plus 3 or 4 static posts every single week, plus a piece of, they call it pillar content. If you're not a business person, you might not know that phrase, but it is a big long form piece of content like a blog post or a podcast. Plus, I should be sending out 2 to 3 emails a week, plus cross posting to Facebook with Instagram because they're the same company. So they do that very easily. Plus repurposing all of my older content in order to make sure that I had a constant presence everywhere, all the time on social media. I'm going to take a big deep breath because whoo, doggies, that sounded ridiculous to me. And here was why I kind of started to see the glimmers of, oh, this isn't really helping me. Because when I pushed back on that and I was like, oh no, that sounds completely overwhelming. AI just generated a slightly lower content pushing calendar, and it did not ask me anything else about my business. It did not ask me anything about me or who I am or what I want that to look like. It didn't even ask me. And here's something that I kind of touched on before about the other factors that have, because it's not just marketing that creates revenue. There's all kinds of pieces of your business. It's, are your landing pages converting at a rate that support your revenue goals? Do you have an offer that people even want to buy? How are you talking about your offer? What is your messaging? Have you identified your actual ideal client who really is there with you and for themselves with your solution? When you ask AI a narrow, mindset block-ridden question, it's going to give you a specific, though generic, answer that unintentionally confirms what you already think about yourself. The reason I got that ridiculous and unsustainable social media program from AI was because I was full of doubt about my ability to post anything. I do not remember the very specific prompt that I gave it, but I guarantee it was some version of, I think social media is hard. Can you help me? So it gave me a very difficult content calendar. It proved to me that social media is hard. Here's the thing, again, that I really want to offer you. I have zero judgment about why you're going to AI. I did it too. I understand. I feel it constantly. It almost stopped me from making this podcast. You are an ambitious woman with a busy brain, and your goal currently feels impossible. So I do have a solution for you because that's what I'm here for. That's what marketing is. I identify the problem. I've had it too. I help you see, hey, what's going on here is fixable, because of course it is. And I do have solutions for you, my friend. The quick and dirty solution is to use your own brain, but really specifically, use your own brain in a way that truly serves you by asking yourself the questions that AI doesn't ask you. Keep digging further. Here's the solution. There are two, actually. Number one is self-coaching with metacognitive journaling, which is part of the Daily 3. There are also two other parts of the Daily 3. There are 3 types of journaling that really, truly help you rewire your brain for success to help you get your goal. The 3 parts are, number one, future self-journaling, meaning actually imagining yourself with your goal, like having the big picture in mind, knowing where you're going so that you can make promises to yourself today with tasks that actually move you towards that, as opposed to just throwing spaghetti at the wall. The second part of the Daily 3 is metacognitive journaling, which metacognitive is it's a fancy word, which is why I use it. I love me some fancy words. It means thinking about your thoughts. It means literally untangling yourself from the stories that you are telling yourself by seeing that they are stories, by really seeing that you are not telling yourself a truth or a fact, that this, again, alleged so-called problem really does have air quotes around it. The only problem is thinking that there is a problem. And I know that sounds like a riddle and a conundrum, and that is why we do metacognitive journaling, to practice the skill of getting up and out of your thoughts and really seeing them as thoughts. The third part of the Daily 3 is success journaling, which means acknowledging that what you are currently doing is successful, meaning that it, no matter what it is, no matter how much of it you're doing, is part of the path that is taking you inevitably to your goal, even if right this second it feels like it's not. This is some of the best work you'll do. I'm going to talk about the Daily 3 briefly here. Some of the best work you can do is this success journaling. We are so determined, I mean, literally hardwired, like biologically hardwired, to see our problems as problems. Asking yourself intentionally to see your current situation as being part of the solution, part of the path, inevitably to your goal. First of all, it feels ridiculously hard until you start practicing it. And then, without gaslighting yourself, without constantly trying to look for the silver lining, but actually legitimately seeing yourself as a person on your way to your goal, my friend, everything you do suddenly is going to feel, because that really is the key here, successful. And that really is what I gently offer you, the path out of AI and into the solutions that I offer, which is journaling, self-coaching with journaling with the Daily 3, and also coaching with a human being. Those two solutions are the path forward for you because they build on what you've done with AI. You can get some ideas from AI that move you into trusting yourself and hearing yourself in a way that you can be more challenged. The thing about AI is that it does not challenge you. It does not ask you to look at the questions you are asking yourself. It does not ask you, really, to move forward in any meaningful way. But once you start self-coaching with or without the Daily 3, honestly, any kind of self-coaching where you are actually asking yourself questions, where you are looking at yourself with discernment instead of judgment, where you are asking yourself to really see your stories instead of living inside your stories, that is the path to moving forward. And the slightly speedier path. Do I want to offer it as speedier? I'm asking myself this question right now. I don't love to talk about speed because I think a lot of us come to all of our goals with urgency to get away from how lousy we feel about ourselves right now. And the promise of speed is it sort of leans into the urgency you're already feeling in a way that I don't like doing. I've used that phrase numerous times over my career. You can look back at, all of my YouTube videos that talk about losing weight faster. I had a freebie for a while that talked about losing weight faster. I've leaned into it a couple of times and I always lean back away from it. It feels gross to me. It is not the kind of marketing that I want to be doing. I don't like leaning into your urgency because I know how deeply uncomfortable it is for me, and I don't want to be sold to that way. So I do not want to offer you that coaching with a human being is faster. What I will offer you is that a person outside of you can see your stories and challenge you to help you see them for yourself in a way that is... Gosh, do I even want to offer this as it's more difficult for you to do by yourself? I really don't. My friend, here, I'm going to have another podcast within a podcast. My goal for you is self-efficacy, 100%. I want you to see yourself as 100% capable. And so I'm very careful about the language that I use, about the solutions that I offer and the help that I offer, because I am never the solution. Like, my journaling is not the thing that gets you your goal. It's you that gets you your goal. Yes, I have a framework that can help you inform how you do the work. And yes, I offer coaching. I am a master certified coach who can absolutely help you spot your stories. I can absolutely help you ask yourself better questions. But I'm not the one doing the work. It's always you and your discernment and your brain and your body connecting in ways that help you understand yourself. Is that faster? Is that easier? Yes, because our language supports that kind of a story. I'm going to leave that there for now so that I can continue talking about what we're actually talking about, but I'm going to let you really hear this in a way that serves you. You have options and you are the answer. I can help. I'm not the answer. Sorry for that popping P there. I got really close to the microphone because I am worked up about this. Here's the thing. What I do as your coach is I actually ask you a million questions. I don't give you advice. I'm definitely not AI. I don't spit out a training plan. I don't spit out an eating plan. I don't spit out a writing schedule. I can offer you those things like, hey, let's take a look at that. How do you feel about that? But I always couch that in some kind of a question about what do you want? How does this feel? Here's an option. Do you like it? I get paid to ask questions, and it is the best thing in the world. Here, let's talk about me for a brief second because I have not distracted myself enough during this podcast. I have always been very nosy. I've already given you plenty of this information. I'm a lurker in all of the groups that I'm in. I love to people watch. I could not be more suited for my job. I can't even imagine how I could be more suited. I love asking people questions. I love asking people really personal questions. What do you think? How do you feel? What's been going on with you that this feels difficult? Like, I love being nosy, and the particular kind of nosy that I am is useful. It's helpful. It helps you see yourself. This is what an excellent life coach actually does for you. And this is something that AI quite literally can't do because it's not designed to. It is designed to give you an answer, not ask you questions, except those stupid, annoying questions at the end. Here's this ridiculous social media plan. Would you like me to put it on a calendar for you? I turned off that option and it still kept asking me add-on questions. One of the many reasons why I quit using AI. My friend, here's the thing. Let me TLDR this for you. The real solution to any so-called problem you have is to hear your thoughts and feel your feelings. And the path to getting your goal is to imagine your future, make yourself promises you can keep, untangle your mindset blocks, and intentionally look for evidence of your current success. AI isn't helping you do any of that. You are welcome to self-coach yourself, even though I don't like that sentence, to coach yourself with journaling that truly serves you, that helps you look at and understand yourself. And you are gently and warmly and lovingly invited into my membership where I can coach you. When you are looking for solutions to your, I'm going to call them alleged problems, and you are now too. When you are looking to yourself for the answers to what you used to call problems, you will find everything you need to move you forward. And I would love to help you with that. My friend, thank you so much for coming along on this wild ride of a podcast today. Insert title here. That is what we have done. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you again soon. No matter where you are on your goal-getting journey, I'm here to help. Get started by watching the free Daily 3 Masterclass to learn the simple journaling framework that rewires your brain for success. Move forward with confidence at your pace with one of my goal-specific guided journaling experiences. And when you're ready for immersive exploration with fellow travelers just like you belong in the Get Your Goal membership. Find it all and join the adventure at getyourgoal.com.